G20 countries, can represent more than 80% and 90% of the world economy. And then we need to cooperate much more to induce the disadvantaged people, disadvantaged region, disadvantaged class of people, all in industries and companies, all together to come join and join this prosperity of the economic cycle. We have many challenges now, and now the world is heading for the disconnection or segregation in many ways. Not only from some instability in Europe, but also in America and in developing countries. We are now observing the lack of the generosity, lack of the patience, and all of things we can say that there's a growing concern. And then to overcome this kind of problems, then we need to be more corporate work between among the countries of G20. And the G20 countries can represent more than 80% and 90% of the world economy. And then we need to cooperate much more to induce the disadvantaged people, disadvantaged region, disadvantaged class of people, all in industries and companies, all together to come join and join this prosperity of the economic cycle. And so G20 must cooperate, towards this interconnectivities or the interconnectedness of these economies.
I think what President Xi Jinping has noted is absolutely correct. And when I look at the Chinese priorities document for G20, I think the major message is that there is the need for cooperation in this world now. Kind of a message is already embedded there. I think that's valuable. It is obvious that we cannot find a solution to our problems without cooperation between the countries. And I think now we need a new type of policy cooperation for the development issues, basically. And I see a good opportunity when it comes to this new SDG framework, Sustainable Development Goals that were accepted at the United Nations in New York this year. And it is good to see that in the Chinese priorities document again, the document is talking about asking from G20 countries their plans for sustainable development, national plans for the SDGs. I think this is a step in the right direction because quantitative targets there are always quantitative targets within the G20 framework for everything.
Well, China is a major player in world economy today. So I do believe that China will have an important role to play in future, more than in the past, in its governance structure of the financial structure of the world as a whole. And as regards the developing countries or emerging markets, China has already established a long-standing cooperation with most of them. China is the largest and most successful emerging market, and therefore can provide financial and technical assistance, can promote trade with these countries through infrastructure development, and through FDI or foreign direct investment can provide really support to the growth of the industrial base of those emerging markets. So there are many different ways that China and emerging markets can cooperate, and I believe will cooperate in the future.